Are you contemplating divorce or separation from your spouse and wondering how your real estate, mortgage, and finances will be affected? What if you knew about all the different financing and mortgage options that you had and you had a clear path to making sure you had a positive resolution to your divorce situation? Well, in today's video lesson here, I'm going to explain the different choices that someone going through divorce or separation has for their real estate as well as their mortgage, and some unconventional approaches that you can use in order to ensure an optimistic outcome. Check it out.
What happens to your mortgage? What happens to your house? Number one is one of the spouses would do a rate and term refinance. So they would just refinance the house from both people's names into one of the spouse's names. That would get the other spouse off the mortgage and off of the title. The next one's going to be a divorce mortgage buyout. What that's going to entail is one of the spouses keeping the house, like we said a minute ago, but then also taking a portion of equity out of the house and giving that to the other spouse to buy them out of their interest in the house. A next one is going to be to sell the property and then split the proceeds. So, typical, you'll find a realtor or list the property, you'll sell it to the highest bidder or to the best buyer, and then the money that's coming back to you after the closing and after the mortgage or any liens are paid off, that'll be split between the spouses. Usually it's 50-50. That they would split that. Could be different, but that's normal. And then the last one that I'll delve into here is divorce buyout consolidation. So it actually would be the divorce buyout we were talking about a second ago. But on top of that, we would also consolidate debt as well. I would say the most popular would be the divorce buyout because 9 out of 10 times from my experience, there is going to be some equity that's owed or some money that's owed.
So then at what point should a future divorcee get in touch with a mortgage advisor?
The answer is you want to get with a mortgage advisor ASAP, like as soon as you think there might even be a potential of a separation and or divorce scenario, you want to get with the mortgage advisor, if nothing else, just to bounce some ideas off of them, some information about what you may or may not be able to do when it comes to your equity and your real estate. You really do want to seek out an advisor because, as we've talked about in previous shows, if you just go to a regular bank LO, loan officer, or credit union guy that does mortgages, and you say that I'm getting divorced, well, they're an order taker. Okay, what are you trying to do? There's no real advice there. There's no real strategy. So this is one of those scenarios, Gary, where you want to seek out a true expert, a true mortgage professional, an advisor, somebody with credentials. There's actually a special divorce mortgage license that you can get, or certification, a divorce mortgage advisor that you can seek out, or someone, again, with the experience to be able to do that sort of thing. So that's very important.
What about some additional documents? Are there any more documents that may be needed when working on getting a mortgage during a divorce or even a separation?
So depending on the circumstance, sometimes, and if you're just starting the process or the light bulb just went off that, hey, divorce may be imminent, at that point, there aren't going to be any documents because you don't have any agreement set up yet, right? But if you are like many who don't approach a mortgage advisor until you're in the process of that divorce or starting that process, then you will want to have like a separation agreement is typically the first thing that's going to be prepared. It's going to entail child support, alimony, money that's owed, things like that on the separation agreement. And then the divorce decree is the finalization of that process.
How can a proper mortgage strategy then, how can the strategy play a role in a more agreeable divorce settlement and agreement?
Yeah.
That would be ideal, right?
A mortgage can get the funds for you that you need to buy out the other spouse, consolidate debt, do those sort of things, without needing to sell the house. And I think that's important because a lot of people think that if I'm in the process of getting a divorce, well, we got to sell the house because we've been paying the mortgage on 2 incomes. There's no way we can do it on 1. That's not always the case, though. So if it's a bad time in the market, you may not want to sell your home. Well, a mortgage can be the solution to that. We can refinance or put another mortgage on your home. So now you don't have to sell right away. Maybe you can do that buyout and take care of the financial part of the divorce without needing to sell. Then you sit there and wait. And then maybe a few years down the line, 6 months, a year, couple years, then we can move forward with actually selling the home when it's a better time to sell, right? You don't want to do it at a time that's just based on emotion. You want to do it at a time that financially makes sense. The other place that a great mortgage advisor and a great mortgage strategy can come into play is the divorce attorney cohesively working with the mortgage advisor as a team. We want the divorce attorney to be really in communication regularly with the mortgage advisor to work together okay, to make sure that everything that needs to be done as part of that divorce or separation agreement is being accomplished with that mortgage refinance or that new loan. So they can work together to craft the best scenario and the best strategy to accomplish all those stipulations.
The different members of the wealth team and how they can work together in the divorce scenario.
Right. So we already kind of touched on the mortgage advisor dealing with the divorce attorney. That's the no-brainer, right? Of course, that's going to happen. We're going to want to loop in your CPA, your tax advisor, into that as well, because buying, selling, refinancing homes and disposing of assets, there's tax implications to all of that. Yeah. The other thing is the investment advisor, your financial advisor, financial planner, whoever you are dealing with to help advise you on your assets and investments. We want to loop them in as well into the process. And you as a homeowner, as a consumer, you need to really loop all the people in that need to be there.
Can you give some examples of divorce scenarios and the resolutions that have been achieved by using the mortgage as a financial tool?
A young couple come to me just buying their first home, and they came to me and we did a 30-year mortgage and everything was going great. Well, about a year later, we did their annual review and they were doing phenomenal. They had just had their first baby at that point. We went and took them from a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage at that point. They were in their 20s. It was like, oh my God, their house was going to be paid off before they were 50 years old. It was phenomenal. On paper, it looked great. Well, about 8 months into that, the husband found the wife cheating on him with a coworker. Okay. It was horrible. You know, he was mentally not in a good place. He contacted me and said, Rob, you know, it was great. We were paying off the house and things were going great. Now we're getting divorced and I have to pay her $10,000. You know, they came up with a resolution. We had to take that 15-year mortgage and put him back onto a 30-year mortgage. We did the $10,000 buyout, so she was bought out. And in that circumstance, he was actually able to lower his mortgage payment from what it was on the 15-year mortgage. After we took him back to the 30 and did the buyout, his mortgage went down by like $300 a month. For him, that was great. He was able to keep the house. He didn't have to worry about his finances. The payment went down. And he was worried when he came to me that, hey, what am I going to do? We're going to have to sell this house. We've only lived here like 2 years, you know, what are we going to do? And we were able to make that possible. Another one was a lady that came to me from Windsor, actually. She had her mortgage almost paid off. She had 5 years left. And she contacted me kind of in a panic and said, Rob, you know, this divorce is happening. Like, it is going on and I don't know what to do because I only have 5 years left on the house, but I owe my spouse. It was all this money. It was like $40,000 or $50,000 that she had owed him. We took her from 5 years back to a 15-year mortgage. We did the $40,000 buyout of the ex. The other cool part was we took all this marital debt. They had like $40,000 or $50,000 in marital debt. We rolled that into the new mortgage as well. And when you factored in the debt payments and everything, but she was saving over $1,000 a month.
Oh.
So the reason I say that is because a lot of people look at a divorce as a financial death sentence, and it really can actually save you money if you do it the right way.
What about some major mistakes that people make when deciding on, you know, what direction to take with your mortgage and real estate? And this is in relation to divorce.
Sure. So I think that the biggest mistake people make is they do it emotionally. So something comes up with the divorce, the adrenaline's high, and then it's like, oh, we got to sell the house. We got to do this. And it's like, wait a second, step back, get some advice, get professionals involved. And then who are you getting advice from? It needs to be pros. It can't be your friends and family. And unfortunately, that's who people lean on, right? For emotional support in these scenarios. They're talking to their parents, grandparents, sisters, uncles, etc. And next thing you know, they're getting, you know, advice on finances and divorce from someone that maybe has no expertise in that. That's a huge issue, a huge red flag that I see people do. The other thing is getting things in writing. When you are contemplating divorce, there's legal things involved here. And we all know when it's just a verbal agreement, it doesn't hold up in court. And then the last thing that I'll say as far as major mistakes is people think they have to spend tons of money and the divorce is going to cost tons of money. Sometimes it does. If it's done right, though, and you do it in the right order at the right time, and you would get the advice at the right point, then it doesn't need to be a very costly situation. You sometimes don't even need an attorney.
Wow. What would you, I don't know, what do you think would be the top tips that you would give someone who is contemplating divorce?
Yeah, I think the top tip is that if it's anywhere on your radar that you're getting divorced in the next couple months or even year, get with a mortgage advisor early, find out what your options are. All you have to do is reach out to us and say, hey, I'm thinking this might happen. What are my options? What could I do? How much equity do I have available? Like, come to us early, come to us quickly. Let us customize that strategy to you before you get too far into the process. That is the number one top tip that you could do when you're contemplating divorce. And get those ducks in a row early, have the game plan in place with an ideal outcome so that you can then have a clear head when it comes to getting all this stuff.
I hope now you are starting to see that with the right approach and the right advice, you can actually have a positive resolution to your divorce scenario. If I can be of assistance with a personal consultation for your situation, reach out to me directly. I'm licensed in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Florida, and I've handled thousands of divorce cases in my career. You can reach me direct by call, text, or private message at 860-413-3938. If you found value in today's video, please go ahead, hit subscribe. Also click the bell so you get notified on all of our future content, and follow us throughout social media for more great videos just like it. Hope it helps, and take care.